Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rocky from Dareth.us, and this is our first video on the video game Asheron's Call. The purpose of this video was originally to start off as a college project for my broadcasting class, but we've decided to move on to more than just a college project. What we're going to be doing is a series of videos both on the video game Asheron's Call and Asheron's Call 2. Now, just a little bit of information for you. Asheron's Call has been around since 1999. I believe it was November of 1999 when it first came out. Asheron's Call is one of the older video game or MMORPGs that is out in existence today, and unfortunately, because of the player base and because of the game itself, it's not really being supported by the original designers Turbine Games anymore, which is a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. Even though this game is essentially free to play, you can purchase an account from Turbine at $9.99, and for the life of the game, so long as the game is currently in existence, you won't have to pay a monthly subscription anymore. So to begin with this series of videos, what I'm going to be showing you is character creation. Now, what you see right now is a standard character creation screen. This used to be a lot different in the past. The changes came around the Throne of Destiny expansion pack, and this is what we see now. So, for the purposes of these videos, after speaking with members of the Harvest Gain server Facebook group, we are going to be creating a mage to show you the basic tutorials. Now, there's different templates you can use depending on what you would like to use. Okay? We are doing a mage to begin with. Mages are probably one of the simpler creations simpler characters to get into. I would say one of the most powerful, but they're also one of the most versatile. So to begin this, we're looking at the different races. Now, the game, when it first came out, started with three races, or three racial sects within the game: the Alluvians, the Grenadians, and the Shows. And I know I probably mispronounced the total name of this, but since the beginning of the game, most of the players have just called them the Garu, because it's simpler from that. So, with the Alluvians, the Garus, and Shows being the original races to begin with, each one had a different bonus to begin with. The Alluvians, as it states here, each skill has traits and bonus racial features that you can discover as you are creating your first character. Because we're using a mage, the Garu would be the best option, as they give you a damage rating bonus of 5 when you're using staff or magic spells. The other races that are good, or at least give you a bonus to begin with in regards to creating the mage, are the Empyreans, as they too give you a magic bonus of +5. And as you can see, as we're going through each race, the racial bonuses are through here. So it looks like it's just the Empyreans and the Garu that give you a bonus to magic. So since we're doing this as a tutorial video, and I am an old school player who's been playing since 2000, we're going to start with the Garu. So we're going to click next. Now this is the standard screen on how a character is created. You have these 6 different options to begin with, and they're pre-generated. Certain things like strength, as it shows you, measures the muscular power. The higher the strength, the more damage. Plus, you can carry other things. Endurance alters your health as well as your stamina. Coordination helps you with like lockpicking and your defenses. Quickness is your running. Focus and self is what you really want to look at when you're starting your mage. So the two different mage options you have is the War Mage, which starts out as a pretty meager stat collection, and you have the Lifecaster. Now, with Lifecaster and War Mages, they're two totally different type of mages to begin with. Okay, War Mages start with more of the firepower, the destructive power, plus you have some life magic skills, so you'll be able to buff yourself at least in some defense. Lifecasters, you primarily focus on healing yourself, as well as protecting yourself and your vitality, and you have some war magic capability. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to start off with a custom character just to show you what a powerful mage is capable of beginning with. So here I'm going to put my focus and my self to 100, which means that when I start, I'm going to start with a very powerful magic caster to begin with. Now, some individuals will start with a strength of 10, which means you're allowed to carry a lot of things really quick, and some will start with an endurance or a coordinates or a quickness that helps depending on what it is that you're doing. Myself, I prefer to start with a strength of 10 because you can easily bring your endurance up rather quickly. Okay, so unlike most of the other MMORPGs that are in existence at the moment, it's my personal opinion that Asheron's Call has one of the most robust class creation systems out there, as you have the capacity of creating a vast majority of different combinations in order for your character to build up. Trained skills and specialized skills are what your character is capable of using to begin with. Usable untrained skills means that you could possibly use something, but you don't get any bonuses, and you can't really increase your skill ability until it becomes trained. Now scroll down even further. Unusable trained skills means you cannot use these whatsoever unless they are trained. Now, with mages, there are 4 different types of magics that you really have to look at. Well, 5 depending on what type of character you're using. For a standard war mage or a standard magic caster, the 2 different type of choices that you have when it comes to a destructive ability is war magic and void magic. War magic is your straight up force, elemental, physical type of magics, whereas void is more of damage over time as well as damage over debuffing. Life magic is what you have the ability to protect yourself on physical as well as elemental type of damages. Item magic is essentially what you use to buff your character's personal items. You know, the armor he's wearing, the wand that he's using, the orb that he's using, so on and so forth. And finally, creature magic, or creature enchantment, which is essentially the ability to buff your abilities. Your strength, your focus, yourself, your endurance, your coordination, your quickness, as long as the individual skills that you're trained as well. Because we are using a mage template, there's 2 different types of templates that we can start with. Again, being as an old school individual, I prefer to use war magic as my base magic. Additionally, because of how many starting skills that you actually begin with, it's also a good idea to start off with melee defense. You're going to be going up against a lot of creatures in this game where melee defense is going to be a power stat. So for a mage, it's best to train both melee defense and war magic, as well as bringing them up to specialize. Now, when you bring a skill up from untrained or unusable to trained, you get a +5 bonus to create that skill. and each experience point, or each amount of experience that you get, will increase the total amount of skill that you're capable of doing. With specialized skills, not only do you get the 5 bonus for trained skills, but you get an additional 5 bonus, or a 5-point bonus for going up to specialized. On top of that, you actually use less experience points to increase the amount of skill level that you have in each individual skills compared to that of train. So with this is just a straight basic starting template for your War Mage. Additionally, you have 4 skill credits to use later on. As this is a War Mage, there's a specific lineage on how we're going to be increasing the way this skill, or the way the character is created. So from this point, we're just going to keep the total amount of skill credits available at 4, and we're not going to use them. The next area brings over to how you want to change your appearance. This is the standard creation skill, or standard creation for your character. You have a lot of different options and a lot of different ways you could do things. Because I'm all for being, a male, using a male template, we're going to create a male. And then I pretty much like the way this is set up. The only thing I'm really going to be changing on here is how my facial features look. So as you go through and you're hitting your face, hitting the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the hairstyles, you can change exactly what your character's doing. I always like to have a character who has facial hair. That's just me. You can do however you want. There's no real bonuses on how you're going to be looking, or how your character looks on this. Additionally, you can change the color, the tone of your skin. Being a Garudium or a Garu, the Garu are more desert dwellers, so they have a darker complexion than the Sho and the Alluvians. With the Alluvians, they're more like Western American or Western Hemisphere individuals. The Sho are more Asians, and the Garu are more of the Middle Eastern skin tones. So after we figure out what it is that we're going to start with, I'm going to choose a headgear that I think is appropriate. We're not going to do a headgear at this time. I like the shirt. I like the trousers. The footwear, you only get 2 different choices. Let's do a short sleeve shirt. And, let's change everything to red because, I like the color red. Hit next. Now, these are the 4 different starting towns that you can begin with. In the original Asheron's Call, when it first came out, there were multiple different starting towns to begin with. With Throne of Destiny, with the Dark Majesty expansion pack, the amount of starting towns actually changed. So the game changed on how you started out. From, I believe it was 8 different locations to begin with, down to 3. With Throne of Destiny and bringing out the other races, Sanamar was an additional city that was created, and it's the base of operations for the Viamontian race. But because you can play a Viamontian race, it's available for you on any of the other races as well. Now, most of the servers that are currently in Asheron's Call that you can choose from start off in Holtburg. Holtburg is like the capital city that everybody just moves to begin with. You can start in Shalshi, Yarak, Sanamar, Holtburg. Because we're using the Harvest Game server, I'm just going to go ahead and start with Holtburg. Now that you have created your character, you can go through and re-look at some of the choices that you made, go back and decide whether or not you want to change by just simply clicking on any of these items up here. You can also, go through and look at some of the things that is suggesting, like with men's names, they're formed with isms. So the Suji, Taikabar, Abraham, so first names, so on and so forth. Because the tutorial system is going to be for the website dareth.us, we are just going to create the character Darethus. So this is the end of character creation. When you're ready and you're perfectly fine with how your character is created, go ahead and hit finish, and it will take you to the beginning of the game.